Seller Ladies Live, and as you'll see, there are two of us today. It's flipping fantastic, Kelly, with me, and we may well be joined by other people, but it's a fabulously busy Friday for lots of people. So as and when they want to pop in, they are welcome. The invite has been sent out. So if you've not subscribed, do subscribe, and you know all that jazz and what goes on underneath. Blimey, I'm rubbish at this, aren't I? So on a freezing, nasty, cold, autumny day, our thoughts turn to the darker side. Not the darker side, really, but just the kind of flip side of reselling. And a little bit, we were having a bit of a conversation about this on our little group about the ethics of reselling, and everybody has their own personal points of view. I'll point that out before we even begin. It's very much a personal thing about where you draw your lines and your boundaries, what you're prepared to do or not do, and that there's no right or wrong with it. However, it's useful to discuss exactly what your kind of take on it is and what your kind of moral compass might be about certain issues and stuff that comes up. So that's the starting point for the conversation. But given that there's only two of us seller ladies, if anyone's out there in the chat, please, please, please comment and let us know that we're live and you can see us and that we're not just talking to ourselves, lovely as that is. So well, it's just us chickens. Yeah, one of the big ones is people say, how do you feel about making money from charities? I could witter on about that, but perhaps I'll give you a chance first, Kelly.
Well, I don't actually buy a lot from charity shops myself, as I think I've said before, but I don't see a problem with buying from a charity shop and reselling. I mean, the big bosses in charities, they make plenty of profit off the charities. So, yeah, I don't see an issue with it at all, to be honest. I wouldn't haggle in a charity shop. That's one thing I wouldn't do, but I very rarely haggle anyway. If I know I'm going to make a decent profit on something and I'm buying it fairly cheaply, then I don't tend to haggle. So that is kind of a moral stance of my own. If I say, because I know, I buy a lot of jewellery, I wouldn't haggle if I'm going to make £50, £60 on an item. Yeah. I think that's just rude.
But it's just rude.
Yeah, it's just rude. But other people might think differently. So, yeah, I think we're all a little bit different on that one.
Some people love the game and the haggling, and I think I'm pretty much the same as yourself, Kelly, in that I tend not to haggle if the price is, it's not going to make much difference because there's a stonking amount of profit in it.
Yeah.
I do a little bit of haggling if I'm doing a bundle of things. I say, well, what can you do, but generally I'm prepared to pay a sensible price. But charity shops, no, I've never haggled in a charity shop. If something's got a bad fault with it, I kind of go, God, another hole in that cashmere jumper, and just stick it back. It's like, I'm not going to get involved to any great degree. I really don't haggle in charity shops. Boot fairs, yeah, fair game. That's part of the rumble, I think. That's part of the fun. But definitely not in a charity shop, that's for sure. I'm just going to say a quick hello here. We've got
thankfully, Heather, we've got some people in. It's not just me and you.
We're not just talking into the void, the interwebs. Hello, Fate Rachel. Hello. We've got Karen, who I know wanted to join us but can't. Nice to see you here. Michaela Purdy Vintage. I love that name. Hello. Nice to see you in here again. And Alison Jones. So that's good. There are people out there with nothing better to do on a Friday lunchtime.
I can see Fate Rachel as well. She's popped in.
Yeah.
My screen.
Yes. Oh dear. Oh, and Julie Curry. Now everyone's got the notification, so it means that it works. Because I quite often I've got my notification set to actually, and it doesn't tell me until about a quarter of an hour in. I'm like, God, I missed it. With charity shops and making money, I do shop in charity shops quite extensively. Hello, Southwest Sellers. I do a lot of my sourcing in charity shops. There are some that I will go to that I love what they do. I mean, all charities do good things, but some are dearer to my heart than others. Often it's they've got a sale day on, and I'm in there because I want their goodies. I don't have any qualms about buying things from a charity shop to resell, I pay them what they're asking. I will spend a decent amount of money. Some of them I'm spending hundreds of pounds a month in. They're doing pretty well out of me, and I'm doing pretty well out of them. So I kind of think of that as a win-win, which for me is a perfect arrangement. I find that some charity shops are deeply expensive, and I will look at them every once in a while, and then I will move swiftly on. I've got a pretty firm idea in my mind what I'm prepared to pay for something, and I don't generally go outside of it too much. But that said, I did pick up a couple of merino wool blankets yesterday, and I did pay £15 a piece for them, but then they're king size, and they'll probably go for nearly 100 because they're beautiful. So that was 30 quid I dropped yesterday that I wasn't planning on spending in a place I don't normally go to because it's out of the way. But I was very happy with my purchase, and they were happy to get rid of 2 bulky items from their establishment. So win-win. I have no qualms. I did work in a charity shop a long time ago before I went into reselling. I was a volunteer for about 2.5 years at one particular shop local to where I am, and I loved doing it. What I found was that people's knowledge is actually quite poor, including mine at the time, wasn't that brilliant? And I just really found that most people in those shops who are volunteering really don't know very much about it. The structure of it is they have to make a certain amount of money, they have to reach targets. It's a run as a business in every sense of the word. It really is. And they're under a lot of pressure. So, I have sympathies with them. But yeah, if I walk in somewhere and all the prices are hugely expensive for Primani and such ilk, then I tend to kind of go a bit like, okay, this isn't for me, and I leave.
Yeah, you quite often hear in the chats on Instagram, Facebook, etc., how charity shops are getting so expensive. But would you think that's just expensive from a reselling point of view, or expensive in general? So if I wanted to buy a dress, saying it was £15, do you know what I mean? If I was buying it for myself, that might be quite reasonable because, yeah. So I don't know where I fall on that argument. People moaning that they're getting too expensive, but then I could say, like, I don't normally buy my stock from charity shops, so maybe if I relied on charity shops, I'd be feeling differently.
Some of them are very boutiquey. That has been a more recent trend for the last sort of 5 years since that Mary Portas woman went round and juiced everything up. And what people think is vintage in a charity shop is not necessarily what really is. It's a lack of knowledge again. I mean, I'm in the southeast of England, and I find that I know from talking to other resellers that our prices are generally higher. The rents are higher, the rates are higher. Everything is higher down here, and I accept that. And I work with it because that's what I've got. It doesn't mean I don't still hunt for a bargain quite thoroughly, and I will go through everything because they might have missed something. They train their volunteers better now. They do try and educate them as to what to look for, labels and stuff like that. So my game is to be one step ahead. Because businesses evolve and change. But I think complaining about it isn't much use. If you really don't like it, find another source, find something else.
Exactly, yeah.
Broaden what you sell. But yeah, it's complaining. Yeah, I understand if it's suddenly changed, and sometimes the manager will change of a shop, and it will suddenly go woof, and you're like, oh bloody hell, they've got a new manager in. Give them a few, and then they'll be
as well.
stock, and then they'll start selling it. They'll have a sale and clear their stock again. It's like, yeah, okay.
Karen's asked a question. She says, if you were to buy something and get it home and realise it's not worth any money, would you take it back?
Well, that is a good question, because I'm not going to buy something if I don't know I can at least make some money out of it. I would leave it there. If it's something I paid a couple of quid for, no, of course I wouldn't take it back, because I kind of think that's my fault for picking it up. If I'd bought something, let's say at £15, and discovered it was full of holes, and then yes, I probably would. But again, what I tend to do is I will go back. The label's all in it. I've got the receipt, and I say, look, I'm really sorry. It's a lovely coat, but I've seen these holes in the back. I didn't know till I got home. Is there any way I can swap it for something else? because I don't necessarily want their money back, but I'm quite happy to go and see if I can find other things.
I
I
think
try.
they generally give you a credit note or something like that, don't they, charity shops,
Yeah,
rather
pretty
than
much.
your money back.
It's only if I've spent over, I've spent a decent amount and I kind of think, well, I don't really want to take that on the chin because that shouldn't have been put out in the first place. But I'm very
Yeah.
about it.
If it's priced around £20 or above, then you expect it to have them to have at least looked over it well and not have any issues, or them to point it out that it has got an issue. You
Yeah.
would have thought, wouldn't you? Like any shop, I suppose you would think that just because they're a charity shouldn't mean that they can get away with not doing the proper checks like we would have to do, I say.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, we try and look carefully, but they're not always the best lit places. Sometimes you're in a hurry. Sometimes it's in a strange place where you wouldn't think to look. So, yeah, that is a thing, really. So I wouldn't necessarily take it back if it was just valueless. That I'd consider that a learning experience, and I think I won't pick that one up again.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Mrs. M. Mrs. M's in. Now I am enjoying Mrs. M's book club. I'm
Yeah,
actually
book club.
halfway through, and I did that yesterday evening. I just sat and plowed through it in about an hour. So it's a fantastic book. That's all I'm saying. We'll talk about it another time. But thank you for joining us. And Andrew Monumental, nice to see you here too. So,
We've got a few people's popped in. Tap Doctor's in.
oh, yes, I'm just going down now. I didn't realise. Hello, Tap Doctor. Yeah, that's cool. It's lovely to have people in. Makes you feel not quite so like you're talking to yourself. Oh dear. So yeah, it's interesting with charity shops though. It really is. And someone said, "Don't you just love it when you find a jumbly, untidy one?" Says Michaela Purdy Vintage. Indeed.
Yeah, them old people that run by the old ladies.
Oh, I love my wobbly ladies.
Wobbly ladies, yeah.
But wobbly ladies in one particular shop, and they are a delight. They really are. And everything sort of gets priced around the same. So yes, do quite well. And Becca's in. Hello, Becca's Bookshelves. You're welcome to join us if you want to, Becca, if you'd like to. Yeah, I do like a jumbly one, but they're not always low price. There's one I go to with a friend, and it's not where I am. It's a bit of a journey, and it used to look such a mess, and you think, God, that's going to be dirt cheap, and then it wasn't. It was like, oh no. So yeah, it's just finding what you like. If something's going to cost £2 or £3, if it's something that's worth a lot more, I don't mind if it's £2 or £3. The difference doesn't make a difference if it's a £40 jacket. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm trying to find. But it's a difficult one with charity shops. And this is a very strange one. How do you feel about other resellers? I guess that depends, doesn't it, really? We love everyone. We are hippies. We love everyone.
I've got loads of resellers at my car boots, and there always has been. Obviously, you get new faces coming on the scene. Noticed quite a few more buying media and that sort of thing recently. So it's something I've always faced, and I've never found it a problem, to be honest. Never found it a problem.
No, me. Yeah, I mean, I there are people around who resell, and I might not necessarily know who they all are. And I know there are people who clearly sell on at people I see at my flea market and stuff. And I kind of think, well, we're all in the same game. We all pick up different things. I mean, I picked up an Oscar, OSKA, linen knitted kind of top thing. And it looked like a bit of a dish rag, as they often do when they're in a pile. But, that had been picked over by somebody else 2 minutes before and he'd missed it. So I'd probably missed something that they've picked up. So, I think I like it, but I suppose it gets difficult when they're right on your doorstep. If somebody suddenly popped up and said, "Oh, I'm in Tunbridge," be like, "Ooh, hell." But there is pretty much enough to go round.
I mean, I go so far as at my car boots as if I'm going through a box or something, and I know so and so buys games. I'll pass them the games out the box because I know that's what they buy.
Oh, that's fab. Yeah, if you've got
and
that.
Likewise, if they find a bag with clothes in or shoes, or they'll pass it to me, and it works that way. You've got to help each other out, really, haven't you?
that is the best attitude, really. You know,
I mean,
we're all,
and I wouldn't say we're friends. We've just been going to the same car boots and know what each other buy and that sort of thing. So that
yeah.
happens as well.
Yeah, that's nice if you get people cooperating. I don't go to so many boot fairs, admittedly. I like them, but the weather's been a bit unpredictable, and I'm not always in the mood. I know it sounds a bit odd, but I kind of have to have my game face on if I'm going to brave a boot
Yeah.
fair and all the sort of all that goes with it. You know, people try and charge you 50 quid for something and they're stood in a muddy field. My kind of patience threshold is somewhat lower than a lot of other people's, I think. Oh, we got Shelster in the house. Shelley's in. And she's saying the rummagey shops are few and far between now. They certainly are. And it's £15 for cashmere in her local charity shop. Wow.
Wow.
No, it's. I mean, they sometimes they want to charge £7 or maybe even 10, and I tend to leave it for that. But unless it's something amazing, but I've still picked them up for two to £4 locally. But I think that's because people don't know what it is, or they've not really looked, rather than that they don't understand what cashmere is, if you know what I mean. We've got Kirsten's Avon in. We got Pound Girl in. We got Cheryl. What we're talking about, the ethics, kind of the issues around reselling, sort of ethics and morals, if we have any. That's debatable, but we do. Some people think we don't, and it's a bit hurtful, really, because I think we're recycling. We're being ethically sound in not adding to landfill. We are doing our bit here. We are trying. No problem with their registered businesses. Well, that thereby hangs a tale. We'll save that for a day when we've got Karen Sells Clothes in with us, because that's what she's corking. She's done a video about some issues she's had with eBay, and scheduled listings, I believe, is the topic. But I'll leave that to you guys to go and find.
Heather, I think Becca might be waiting in the background to get in.
I can see her. I've got her now.
There she is.
There she is. Hi, Becca.
Hey.
Hey, three's a crowd. Woohoo!
Well, this was your topic as well. You suggested it, didn't you?
It's a damn good
I
one.
am useful for things sometimes.
So, what's your opinion on making money from charity shops? What do you reckon?
I think the same as you, Heather, because, like you said, I was talking to the ladies the other day, and I've spent £640 so far in October on stock. And I would say, well, £280 of that was at auction, and the rest is charity shops. So I would say that they're getting a really good deal out of me, and obviously I'm getting a good deal out of them. So I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, that is a really good point. The amount of money that is turned over by resellers buying from charity shops would be astronomical across the country, wouldn't it? You're laying down a few £100 every month at least.
At least, I would say around about, usually, I mean, I've spent a bit more this month than normal, but usually around about £500 a month at charity shops. So,
yeah.
Have either of you ever had any problems with charity shops because they know you're reselling? Or are they happy for you to go in and buy bundles and bundles?
I've got people that are very, very happy to see me when I walk in. It's like I walk in and they're like, "Oh, it's you again." I'm back again. I walk out with a big pile, and they like it because I help them clear their shelves and room to stock more stuff because they're drowning in stock. Some of these charity shops around my way. I've never had a problem with it, but I don't feel I need to explain myself or I'm perfectly happy. Some shops look at you a bit strangely, especially if you're buying something that's clearly for someone smaller, shorter, narrower. I'm just like, oh, well, it's not for me, but I know someone will love it, and I just leave it at that. If I have to say, but I don't go in and say, oh, I'm a reseller, blah blah blah, because there are, especially the volunteers, who do have their own personal view on it that isn't favourable. Well, that's their view, but I'm not going to engage if I mean, some of the manageresses do understand. That's different. and they can be quite friendly about it. But yeah, you've got to be careful, I think, especially down here. There's a lot of worthy ladies doing their couple of hours a week, and they've got very strong views.
How about you, Becca?
I haven't. Have I? No, I haven't had any problems, but I'm also not completely open about what I'm doing, I guess. I mean, I guess I would. Obviously, it's going to be obvious to some people when they notice, like Heather said, if you're buying things that are, you can just tell they're not for you, or like if I'm a size 14 to 16, if I'm going buying a size 10, then they know it's not for me. And likewise, if I'm buying 20 items of clothing that are in a range of sizes, they know it's not going to be for me, don't they? So, I've never had anybody actually ask me what I'm doing or tell me that they know what I'm doing and that they've got a problem with it. So I don't really. I guess I've not had much experience in it really. I just kind of keep under the radar, and I'm not like one of these people that goes barging around and whisking through the rails and grabbing everything and bartering for prices, which I've seen other people do. And I think all you're doing then is putting a big sign on your head and you're giving them things to be opposed to. Whereas I just kind of go in, keep my head down, tidy up the rails as I'm going along because I've got OCD, and then I spend a lot of money and don't have to do it. So,
I mean, I have heard people say at the car boot that my grandson will love this, and I know full well they're not buying it for their grandson, or I'm buying it for my auntie. I'll just text
I've got imaginary
if
daughter.
she wants this, and really they're looking it up on eBay. I mean, that's just rude.
Yeah, it's a bit indiscreet, really. I think.
Yeah.
But
if you're not going to tell the truth, just don't say anything. You haven't got to explain why you're buying something. But then I'm with Andrew. If somebody asks me, I'll tell them.
Oh, if somebody asked, I'd say, oh yeah, I pass these on to people who haven't got time to go around the charity shops. I'm a finder. I would say I'm good at finding things that people want. So it's a nice way of putting it, really.
That is a very good way of putting it, that Heather. That you pass them on to other people that don't have time.
Yeah, because
it's honest. It's not like in your face. I am making a profit out of your charity.
Yeah. It's kind of it's a kind way of putting it, and it's true. I mean, that's how I see myself. I am a magpie. I do buy things that I like the look of, and that I hope someone else will like. I mean, that's what we do, isn't it? Really. So, and Chelsea just said, whenever she goes into a charity shop and drops 100 quid, they're chuffed to bits, and I bet they are. That's a lot of money to spend in one shop. But I know, that can happen. You get a good day, or there's a whole bunch of good stuff.
Yeah,
and it seems rude not to, isn't it?
Me and Sam was out the other day. I think it was Tuesday. Me and Sam went out together, and in one of the charity shops, I got to the till, and the lady was ringing everything up, and I had a big pile. And at the end, she went, "Oh dear," and I'm thinking, "Oh God, how much is this?" And she said, £61, lovey, is that okay? And I was like, yeah, of course it is. She was like thinking, I mean, to me then that would say that was one of the biggest purchases that they've had. And whereas to me that's not that much. But surely then they're appreciative of having such a large. So I have, even by family members, been called scum for making money from charity. I know lots of people don't agree with what I do, but I'm sick of saying, like, you go into a charity shop once every few months and spend a £5. I go in very regular and I'm spending hundreds of pounds. So who would you say the charity is going to want in their shops more? Surely it's me if I'm spending that much money.
Absolutely. I mean, resellers must form quite a bulk of their sales and help them meet their targets, because that's that kind of, and also helps them to get new stock in because they're shifting stuff. It's not all just sitting there. We've got Karen Sells Clothing. Hello, Karen. Glad you could join us, and Kirsten as well. Although it is Kirsten's Curiosities. We've got Kirsten's Avon UK, so she's got more than one channel, which is very ambitious. So I'm
Yeah,
trying
she's just started a new business, hasn't she? Avon. So, ladies, if you need any Avon, get in touch
that's
with
the one.
Kirsten.
Yeah, and we got Mum of Five Sons in as well. I probably miss people out now. I hate that. I think that's so rude. Becca Feduk, hello. Daisy May, asking a question about turnover, which you may not want to disclose, but fair enough.
Yeah, I saw that. I think that's actually a bit rude. Rude.
Yeah, rude.
Rude.
I can see what you mean. Obviously, if you're spending a lot of money on stuff, then plainly you're only doing that if you're going to get a decent turnover. But I think that's probably a little bit too close to the mark of asking question. Yeah, but thanks for the question. We just won't be answering that one. Oh gosh, I've missed a whole load of chat here. Yeah. Doesn't the charity make money from charity anyway? How else do they pay their management and issue bonuses? That's from Andrew. Yeah, well, exactly. And I mean, the very top of charities, as we all know, that's where a certain amount of the money goes. The poor so-and-so's managing shops don't get that much. I know for a fact. And Lainey,
yeah, I'm quite lucky because I've always been around resellers. Most of my family are resellers, so I've never had any negative comments like Becca's just said. I think that would be quite upsetting. Do you know what I mean? Because trying to explain it, what you are actually doing.
Yeah, I think one of the problems is that in my local area, there's a local charity that has got lots of shops. So obviously, they're literally in several different parts of town. They're in the next town over, and it's a cancer hospice shop. And lots of people that I know have had relatives who've been in there and used those services. In fact, one of my relatives was in there, and all over last Christmas, New Year, that way on, I was doing a lot of end of life support work there as a nurse. So I think lots of people have this this kind of link to this charity, and then as soon as they see me in there and they know what I do for a living, they're just taking it personal and taking like this offence, like you're ripping off a charity that helped my family member or my friend or whatever. But at the end of the day, I've got to pay my bills. I've got to feed my kids. I've got to live, and the charity is still getting money. So I don't agree with that way of looking at it. But everybody's free to, feel what they want.
Yeah, I mean, you're supporting that charity, like I say, with pound notes, basically, so that you're really helping them. So I would have thought that would have been a cause for more celebration. I mean, I've got a chain of hospice shops, and they're the ones that I tend to go to because I do, the cause is very close to my heart. I have had cancer in the past, and I've always said to my husband, if I ever need to go to a hospice, can it be that one? Because they're lovely. I'm like, let's hope that doesn't happen. But, obviously I'm not just creating an insurance policy for my later years, but I'm supporting something I genuinely believe in. And yeah, I mean, over time, it's hundreds of pounds, and I'm more than happy to give that to them, and happy that I can make a living too.
I love Pound Girl's comment she just made. She says, nobody's ever been negative about what she does. Envious. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people envy being able to do reselling, don't you think? A lot of people aspire to do it, don't they?
Yeah, maybe that's because sometimes we make it look a bit easy.
Yeah.
I don't know, and it gets easier as you know what you're doing, but there's a lot of legwork that people don't see, and a lot of hard work that goes into it. I love it, but I know it's not for everybody because it requires a very particular mindset and a particular resilience and a particular business head to be able to do it and make it work. People come and go, but there are people who've been doing it for many years. No one in my family has ever done anything like this, so I am completely out on a limb. And there's a lot of people in my family who do think I'm very strange, but then they've always thought I'm very strange, and I am, and I don't care.
Mandy put straight in after the perfect response to it, what you've just said. She says she gets frustrated when people she knows suggest that it's not a job, and they seem to think she doesn't work for a living.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. Yeah. Two sides of every coin, isn't there?
By people, does she mean my husband?
Oh,
He is of that opinion.
Ooh, dangerous territory.
Yeah, a bit of man bashing.
Yeah, well, you know, we've got to get a bid in, haven't we? Really?
My response is always, am I paying the mortgage? Yes, I am. You live here, I'm paying for it. I've got to be doing something to earn that money. So I'm not sure what you think I do all day, but I am bringing this money in and I'm paying the bills.
Yeah.
So, and also, just because I enjoy it, does it mean that it's not work? Uh, if you enjoy your job, is it not a job? I don't know.
If you're in a position where you're doing a job you hate, you're going to think that. I've just seen a comment down there. That's Ian saying, we think you're lovely, Heather. I don't care what Kelly says about you.
what have I said? What did I say?
I don't know. I think that's
I
hilarious.
said something. I don't know what I said.
I know I'm strange. It's fine. In so many ways.
So then, next question. How about if you see something going for free, say on Facebook, and you could make a profit on it, would you go and pick it up? Free to anybody who needs it is the title, with a picture of a flat Eric.
They'd be beating down the door, wouldn't they, to get to that? I haven't actually done that. I have paid for things that I've seen on Facebook, local and Gumtree and things, but I haven't done it because there is a little part of me that thinks somebody probably needs that more than I do, and I've got enough stock, and I get a bit iffy about it. But that's just me, you know.
Come on, chat. Fess up. Who's been bagging them freebies on Facebook and selling them on eBay? What about you, Becca? What do you think?
I haven't. I will admit that part of the reason is because I always miss the deals on the good stuff because I'm just not on there. But when it actually, if it came to doing it, I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could take something off somebody. Unless it was, if it was worded like you said, Kelly, where it's free to somebody who needs it, then probably not. But if it was, say for example, it's another reseller or somebody who's been a trader or whatever, and they've had enough, they're just getting rid of some stuff, and they say free to the first person who wants it or whatever, then I think that's fine. But when it, say if it was baby items or or something like that, and it's if somebody needs it, then no, I don't agree with that. But like I say, I think reselling is very opinionated, and I think it's whatever you agree with. I don't think you can follow anybody else's rules.
I think that's the key. It's how it's worded in the advert. If it's free, I'm having a clear out, come and help yourselves, it's all at such and such address, take it away, then no problem. But if it's free to anybody who needs it, or I'm having a clear out, does anybody need these kids' clothes or something like that, then it's different. In my mind, it's different. Cheryl says it's fair game. Because if she don't get it, somebody else is going to get it. But I think she would agree that it depends how it's worded and what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, if someone says, Cheryl said she had something free that was worth £300, and she gave them some money when she got there, and that's kind of fair dues, because that's doing what you feel personally is the right. You're doing what you think is the right thing, and I think that's fair enough, really. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it depends on. There's lots of things, isn't it? Depends on how it's worded, who the person is that's getting rid of it. What it is, what you're going to do with it yourself. Are you going to use it yourself for a bit and then flip it? Or I think there's just loads of variables.
Yeah, that's fair enough, really. Andrew of Money Mental UK is only 5 subscribers off his magic 1,000. So if anyone wants to subscribe to Andrew, who hasn't done so already, crack onto it, because he needs to hit that 1,000.
Can I just say, on the flip side of that, he's having a race to 1,000 subscribers with Louise from KLC Reselling, and it's Andrew's really working hard. He's in all the groups, spamming for subscribers to their beginning.
to the KLC
And
reselling.
Louise is on holiday, so he's really, really
Naughty.
trying there, aren't you, Andrew? We've spotted you.
That was sneaky. So yes, subscribe to Louise KLC Reselling as well, and even up the game.
And
So we can become YouTube millionaires.
Shelley's just said we should all celebrate and congratulate Heather on her 1,000 subscribers, which she recently got. So well done, Heather. Yay! I think that was last week.
You'll be rich soon, Heather.
I haven't been offered monetization because I don't think I've got enough hours of viewing. It isn't just to get monetized. You have to not only have the 1,000 subs, you also have to meet some criteria and how many hours have been viewed. So I'm still not going to get rich, but it does mean that I can, I think, do lives from my phone, which will be useful perhaps, you know, at some later point when I pluck up the courage to do it. But thank you very much for your congratulations. That's very kind. Oh, dear. That's absolutely brilliant.
I want to know what kind of things people have bought and lied about why they're buying.
Oh yeah, tell us your tales. Come on, chat. Give us some gossip. I mean, the thing is, in this country, and it is a fair point, and it's one that Caroline, Mrs. M, made, is why we're so down on people that want to make money and do well. What is it about the British culture that says there's something inherently wrong with, you know, creating a living for yourself, finding a way to do things, paying the mortgage, you know, whatever it is? Why are we down on people who choose to do that in a way that doesn't fit in little boxes? America, they go so far the other way, maybe. They're very out there about it all, but it's kind of, you know, we need a balance. I think there's balance to be struck, and we should encourage people who are trying to make their own way in the world and not be down on them.
I don't think it's just about making money. I think it's about money in general. Like, people are very private about the finances, and I think I would say it leads to problems because, as you know, I post it on Instagram every so often. I've got debt, and I would imagine that the vast majority of people have got debt, and it's not as in debt in the bad ways with debt collectors. It's that I have a credit card and I have car finance and things like that. And people just don't talk about it. And I think when you grow up in an environment or, you know, a culture of not speaking about money, or that speaking about money is bad or, you know, rude or offensive, then you end up making silly decisions as you're growing up. And I did, you know, I started off with £38,000 worth of debt. I mean, how do you even get to that point? Because I've always worked. So I just think, we, as a society, English people do not talk about these important things, full stop. Not just about making money; it's all aspects of money.
Yeah, managing money. You know, how do people work out how to manage the money that they do have in their lives, whether it's a lot or a little or somewhere in between, and how to not get unnecessary debt, not to get into trouble, not to get themselves in deeper than they can get out of. And it is very important. They don't seem to cover this in school. They don't seem to teach kids stuff like that. And I mean, I'm going to have to teach my son about it and he's quite savvy with money, so he's aware, and he says they don't teach us anything about how to manage in the real world. So yeah, maybe our reluctance to talk about it will lessen as time goes on. I hope so, because we're open about so many more things these days, and money often, it's not money in itself, it's what it can do for you and the kind of positive and negative impacts it can have on your life. So it's the management of it that's the vital thing, I think.
And I think it's not just the money side of it, it's work in general. Because if I don't know about anybody else, but I get a little like, not embarrassed, but a bit unsure about how to explain what I do, because reselling isn't a real job, is what people think. So it was so much easier when I was working on the ambulances or working as a nurse to say, yeah, I'm a nurse, or yeah, I'm an EMT, or whatever, than saying what I do now. And I have a feeling that it will probably be a lot easier even to just say I'm a cleaner in school or I work in McDonald's, than it is to say I'm a reseller, because it's not a traditional thing, is it? I think British society is very stuck on traditional jobs, traditional ways of dealing with things. We don't speak about some things. And then if you kind of step outside of that, then you're one of those dodgy people that are wheeling and dealing. And, you know, it's just odd. I just find it very, very odd. But I think, I don't know if anyone else has seen the massive rise on YouTube, obviously, and Instagram of people taking this more of, like, I would say, an American approach to earning and jobs and the, you know, you can make money online kind of thing. And I just think we're now gradually catching up with some other countries in the world. I think we've just been very far behind for quite some time.
Yeah, I think there was a big campaign by Martin Lewis to try and get money basics taught in school, wasn't there, a few years back? I don't know if that's come to any sort of fruition. But Shelley's just said that Connie was taught to do a basic tax return in her maths class at school. Recently. Yeah, so she's going to get her on the job, on the payroll.
Yeah, that maybe they are starting to talk about it more. And it came up because my son was trying to work out something about compound interest and deprecation or something. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. It's like straight over my head. So maybe they are gonna sort of build it in more. I hope so. So a new generation comes through with at least an understanding of, if they're going to have debt, what it is and how it works and how to manage it. eBay entrepreneur, I like that. Yes. And I always say I'm a finder. I find things for people and then they buy them from me. Yeah. Del boy.
I had a nightmare trying to get my car insured. You know, I was without a car for a while, wasn't I? And obviously, when you're doing your insurance, you have to tell them what you do for a living. I ended up having to phone them up because there was no drop down. It was one of those drop down menu things. Obviously, there's nothing to put in there because a reseller isn't classed as a proper job.
No, I think it's on the retailer or something, e-commerce or something like that.
Yeah.
Comes up as. Yeah. Yes.
Entrepreneur. I say I run an online retail business.
It sounds a lot more. It sounds professional. I mean, do I look like Del Boy? No. Oh dear. Yeah, other people's views and what they think we are. But the thing is, you know, we're still quite a small niche, I suppose. That's the thing, is people earning their money like we do. We're so minor. We're such a small part of the economy. But I think there's going to be more and more people doing not exactly what we do, but this kind of business where you've made your own job, really. I think there's going to be lots more people doing it as time goes on.
I think the thing is as well, a lot of people do sell on eBay their personal stuff, obviously sell a little bit now and again, and they don't see how you could ever make a living doing that because they're only selling bits and bobs once or twice a year or so. But, it just opens their eyes to the potential that is out there, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's one of the mums at school. I was talking to her recently, and she was asking what I do now I've left the ambulance service, and I just said to her, "Oh, I sell on eBay and Amazon," and immediately she was like, "Oh yeah, my mum does that. She's doing all that. Yeah, she gets about £100 a week." I was like, "Okay, yeah." And she was like, "So how much do you do well? Like, have you managed to replace your income?" And I was like, "Well, I've almost doubled it actually." So people don't believe that you can do that. I feel like getting the eBay app and showing them my 60-day total, going, "Look, it's real. You can make money on the internet. I'm not just pissing around at home and wasting time in charity shops. I'm actually earning money." But
I'm just laughing.
Come full circle there to where we started off, haven't we?
Yeah, what wouldn't you sell? And then we get
what wouldn't you
sell and things like that. There's a job lot of sex toys at my local auction this week. I know.
Are these the ones I took a picture of recently in our group?
I think that's a no from me. Yeah, I think anything very unsavoury, you know, anything just wrong. Yeah. I mean, I have sold things that feature real fur, and I'm not in favour of the fur trade. But if it is like from the 50s, it's kind of like, well, if someone's going to use it, then maybe they won't go and buy a new one. But I still have mixed feelings about that kind of thing. I do. I'm not vegetarian or vegan. I do sell things that are leather and things that are, made from suede, and all that sort of thing. But I mean, there's not that much I wouldn't sell unless it was offensive or really, something nasty, something really horrific. Yeah, but used sex toys, no. Ugh.
Yeah, I wouldn't sell. I don't think I obviously wouldn't sell anything illegal, and I think after that, I'd pretty much give most things a go. I've sold like latex clothing and put the word dominatrix, kinky, all that kind of stuff. What else have I sold? I've sold granny's nighties and put the keyword sissy in the title.
Yes.
I don't actually care what people are using it for at the end, as long as I sell it.
Yeah, there are markets for certain of those things, and I think that's absolutely fine because, why not? But that's fair enough, really. I like the question from Karen Sells Clothes there, from Karen. How come, being self-employed, people think they can ask how much you earn? They wouldn't ask somebody else. Obviously Carl, but that's fair enough.
Carl, yeah.
But there is this assumption you somehow have to say, oh well, I'm earning this. It's like, but you wouldn't ask someone who's in, regular paid employment, oh well, what's your salary? Not unless you knew them very well. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
No, I think that isn't just for self-employed people. I think it's for certain self-employed people, because if you was a beautician or if you was a builder, I don't think people would ask because they're normal jobs. I think people ask us as resellers because there's still the belief that you can't make that money. It's just not possible. I think that's what it is. I think it's that people are just like, surely you can't be making an actual wage, or it's people who would like to and they're trying to figure out, what is this doable? Like, is it realistic?
Yeah, there is curiosity because a lot of people, they've never heard of this. So when you say that's what you do, they're like, oh really? Can you make a living? How does that work? And you can kind of, their ears prick up. They're thinking, well, maybe I could do that. I'm thinking, oh, no. You really need a good set of attributes to be able to do this and actually make a living. Especially over time. There's lots of people that will start, do it a bit, and then go, I can't be asked, and then give it all up again.
I've just read Tat Doctor's comment.
Yeah.
Have you just read that?
Yeah.
There we go. What can I say? Did it sell? Oh dear, that's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. Well, there you go. Depending on the football team of your choice, that would apply to any football team, couldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Reselling is easy. Reselling is easy. Earning a profit that's livable on is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can go and buy something for £1 and sell it for £2. Anybody. But actually knowing how to scale it, how to choose the right things, how to earn enough to make a living and to be able to pay your bills, that is a completely different story, completely. So all these people that are trying out reselling, it's fine, try it, but it doesn't, I don't think, like Heather said, the majority of people that try it, I think they're not going to, because people underestimate it.
Definitely.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. It's and as we've discussed it, you can have incredibly good times and incredibly bad times with it, because for whatever reason, eBay is incredibly unpredictable in the way it appears to work for us. I seem to be having a good spell at the moment, but that could all change just like that, and I kind of half expect it to, and I think that helps by looking at things that, as a bigger picture, seeing monthly patterns or yearly patterns rather than worrying about each and every little day what happens. But yeah, there's a lot to it, and there's a lot more to it than I think perhaps sometimes we show. Yeah, consistency. Yeah, that's it, Ian. It's consistency. Wow.
Not just consistency. I think the willingness to put the time in as well, because people. I don't just this knowledge I have of products and what to look for and what the values are of things doesn't just magically appear in my head overnight.
Mm.
And it doesn't for any other reseller. You work at it, you do the research, you do all the background work, you'll make the mistakes and learn from them, and you'll make the good decisions and learn from them, and you're building constantly, like the trends of fashion, because a lot of us are clothing resellers, those trends are changing constantly, and you've got to keep up with them. And also, we've talked before about how brands will rise in value, they'll drop in value. You have to keep up with that. So there's a lot of work behind it, and people just don't get that at all. They just think we wander around charity shops and car boots, pick a few things up at random, and it will sell. And fine, you could do that, and it might sell, but you probably ain't going to earn a living from it if you haven't done the work behind it.
Yeah, it's anything but random. And as I know we've discussed on previous Seller Ladies, working out what your business model is going to be, having a system, sticking to it, evolving when you need to, changing when you need to, but yeah, having all of your intelligences working. And there's an element of luck and magic in it. There always is with these things, but yeah, most of it is hard work and sweat, I think.
Hi, DBG.
Yeah.
Just popped in.
Having a fag break. Oh dear. Yeah, adaptable. So yeah, adaptability. I've always said that's probably the key thing. Obviously certain things. If you happen to have a photographic memory, if you have an encyclopedic stored memory of every brand in the universe, then yes. But it is basically the hard work and being prepared to learn.
But I wish I had a photographic memory. My memory's getting shocking, honestly. Really bad. It's getting worse.
Oh, Andrea's late to the party. I'm assuming that's Andrea. It might be Nick. Hello. Oh dear.
Cheryl Poundgirl said it as well, just a bit further up. She was saying that determination is one of the big things as well. And it is because, as Heather's just said, about going through rough days or months in some cases where sales are really rubbish, you're struggling to find stock, you've got two choices, haven't you? You either keep on going and building or you give up. And I think those are the times where you figure out if reselling is for you.
Yeah. Oh, and it's Nick we've got. It's not Andrew. Andrea's out with Ellen. I hope Ellen's feeling well and that all's well with her. But nice to see you in here, Nick. Yes, we're chin-wagging about the usual stuff, chewing the fat. And I think DBG is having trouble with her little one. So
chicken pox, yeah.
Oh God, no. Absolutely covered. Yeah. Yeah. Not good at all.
When chicken pox went round when my kids were little, people used to bring the kids round to catch them.
Chicken pox parties.
Yeah, to catch, so they all get them all at once. I didn't get chicken pox till I was 14 and I was in Spain.
Oh, nasty.
And they come out, yeah. I was a right mess.
Yeah, my son literally had 3 spots and that was it. And it was kind of like, I thought we just had a mosquito bite, and then I worked out it probably was chicken pox. So he had to stay off school, but he had literally nothing to show for it. So he was very lucky boy.
I can't believe you're having a dry spell, Mandy. Seriously.
Well, she's never going to give up. Mandy is as determined as they come.
No, she won't pack up.
Does that mean you're not sourcing, Mandy? Because if not, I might pop up to Liverpool.
Get round and shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've often thought I'd love to go up north and just do a sort of a big road trip and fill the car up. But what I'd spend in petrol would probably offset any savings made. Mhm.
The thing is, as well, we're talking about all these aspects you've got to have as a reseller. So we talk about, the willingness to learn, the determination, the hard work, blah blah blah. It's also the money management, because, like lots of us find with these peaks and troughs, it's so easy especially in Q4, when vast majority of people will see a big rise in sales. So easy to spend it. It really is. And then comes, say, January, February, or the summer months, and you're struggling to pay your bills. So that is a massive thing, because there's no guaranteed income. There's no guarantee each month that I can pay my mortgage. So you've got to have them systems in place. So I think it's a lot of common sense and maturity as well as a reseller.
I would absolutely agree with that. I mean, when I'm having a good spell and the money goes in PayPal, I will actually filter it off into my easily accessible savings account, so it's there if I need to draw on it. If I go through a dry spell, or if I've got to pay some tax, or I've got to get the car tyres done, or whatever it was last week. So it's putting it away when it's good, so that you've got something there. Yeah.
And I'm just tight in general. So even if I won the lottery, I wouldn't splurge. I'm just too tight. It's bred into me. I'm tight. There's no getting around the fact. I don't splurge on anything.
No, I don't really. No, I'm not big on splurging. I always think there's not much I need. I don't have. I'm very simple. I don't have a great deal of needs. Yes, thank you. Yeah, all right. Simple indeed. But it's kind of like there aren't many things that I actually want. But we are going to have our bathroom done, which has been ever since we've been in this house for 8 years. That's been on the that's been in the list. So we're finally going to get it done. And I luckily my research skills mean that I can find all the stuff I need to fit out the bathroom at reasonable rates. So if that's worth it just for that.
I think it makes you a very hard person to buy for as well, being a reseller.
Yeah.
Because every time somebody's like, "Oh, what if I get you this for your birthday or Christmas?" I'm like, no, I can probably find it cheaper in the charity shops. I absolutely begrudge people spending all the money full price, and I begrudge myself doing the same now since I've been reselling and you see what's out there. I hate having to pay full price for things.
Yeah, I mean, I will treat myself to something occasionally, but there's very few things that I really want that are brand new, and I still won't pay absolute full price. I'll still do all the research and get it as inexpensively as I can. But yeah, I think it makes you reevaluate what you need in your life and what you don't, because your house is full of tat anyway. So do you really want more stuff? Nah.
I'm with Shelley on that one. Have you seen her comment?
Yeah, I love it.
She's asking, do you have to be mature?
No, I don't want people buying for me unless I can eat it.
That's a good rule of thumb, I think. That's excellent. Oh dear. Yes, this is a good one. Who's listening to Christmas presents? No, I don't get many Christmas presents. I'm very, we try not to do it. I get some really bizarre ones from certain quarters, but generally, no.
January is great on the car boot for picking up presents to put away for the next Christmas. People selling perfume sets and stuff like that have been brought.
Yeah.
Pick them up really cheap in January.
We don't really have any boot fairs in winter. That's around my way. We don't seem to. They sort of finish up by the end of this month. I think it's because you need a nice big indoor venue. That would be the thing, wouldn't it? But yeah, we really need one of those down south. Anyone out there?
As northerners, we have outdoor car boots in the middle of winter.
But that's because you're hard. You're tough northerners, not soft southerners. Mind you, I found out through my DNA ancestry thing that I have a lot of ancestry in Yorkshire, so that's why I feel quite at home up there. So that's quite funny.
Taylor's had only one outfit that I put my hand in my pocket to buy it full. I know, Cheryl, and it's this. You didn't make the mistake that I did when I first had kids. Because our Aidan, he had everything brand new. I spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds on clothes from Next, and he had everything brand new. And then by the time he was about 3 or 4, I started realising, going round the car boots, the charity shops, buying all his clothes secondhand. And poor Tate, when he came along after 5 years of having Aidan, I don't think he's probably had 10 new items of clothing in 5 years, because he gets everything passed down that was Aidan's. And then also, I go, if anything extra he needs, charity shops, eBay, car boots. And the same with toys. My kids get second-hand toys for Christmas and birthdays sometimes, and they're not bothered, because it means that they either get more than they would have if had to pay full price, or they get the money spent in different ways, like we go for days out and stuff. So I think reselling really does open your eyes up to what you're spending your money on.
Well, exactly. That's how I kind of got into it in the first place, because my son had, obviously people would buy you stuff when you got a newborn, but because of the size of the lad, and I mean, he basically, half the stuff he couldn't wear. So I had to then find some clothes very quickly for the next size up. So I actually went online and bought a bundle of clothes off eBay, and then I just kept doing that as a rolling program, and then selling the old ones afterwards. It was just this rolling program of clothes. So I really discovered then that I didn't need to go out and keep trying to find interesting clothes. You know,
Laughing at Shelley's comment.
I think the flip side as well is that if you do buy anything new, do you have in the back of your mind the resale value for when you've done with it?
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah, so it works both ways, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Tate got some Harry Potter figures for his birthday in May, and I've refused to let him take them out of the box because they're really mean.
Oh, bye, Karen. Yeah. Oh dear. Oh, poor lad.
He doesn't want to play with them. He just wants to put them on a shelf. So I was like, well, you can put them on the shelf in the box.
In the box. Yeah. No. Well. Yeah. That's a reseller's life, though, isn't it? Really. Look at thinking ahead. Oh, Becca, have you got a YouTube channel?
I do, but it's not about reselling.
Oh, what's it about?
Unless you want to listen to me. Yeah, unless you want to listen to me waffle on forever about books I've read and books I want to read, then there's no point you coming over.
Well, yes.
Becca's just started a channel on. Do you want to say what it's called, Becca? I can't remember myself.
The channel is Becca's Bookshelves, and there's a massive booktube community out there of people who talk about books they've read, new releases, books they want to read, anything about books, and that's what my channel is about. I think there's too many resellers who've got YouTube channels. I can't keep up with you all.
I know, I just read that myself, and Nick and Andrea.
That's Nick, by the way.
That explains a lot, Nick, actually.
Yeah.
That's why he's so good at modelling.
Yeah, I've seen you modelling Andrea's coats and things. You've got a knack.
Very pimp styly.
I want to know if your sisters are older than you. That will explain a lot.
Fur coats, no knickers. Hello, we've gone to the dark side.
I can tell you a quick story if you like. My mum used to wear hairpieces in the 60s, and obviously my brothers are older than me. And she didn't have you normally put them on her head to style them, put the curlers and that in. She didn't have one, so she used to pay my brother 50p, or the equivalent of 50p, to wear it while she put all the rollers in before she went out, so that she could set them. Yeah,
they didn't have a camera, did they?
Amazing pictures of the big hair pieces.
Wow. Oh dear, the stories are all coming out now.
Nicola. Fat dog for Nicola.
Nicola. Oh dear. Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. Oh, I've just giggled far too much today, and we've gone over an hour. How did that happen?
I don't know.
It's been splendid. You've all been splendid. We've enjoyed ourselves immensely. I should let you lot go then, because I guess it's Friday and you've got work to do before having the weekend off, because we all know we have the weekend off. Not. So I hope you've all been well. I hope you've enjoyed the show. And thank you to the lovely Kelly. Thank you to the lovely Becca for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, Becca.
And we'll be on next week, I expect. Bye now. Bye.
Bye.
We're